The views and opinions expressed on any program are those of the producers and/or the persons appearing on the program, and do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of FRC Media, Bristol Community College, or the City of Fall River.
Well, welcome to Spindle City Straight Talk. Today's Wednesday. I'm CJ.
I'm Nelson.
And Chip is on his way to Boston. And I'm back. And as many of you know, I was not here on Monday. I had a medical emergency, and I was spending some time with my friends at the hospital. And I want to thank the people at St. Anne's Hospital for all that they did. Let's get right into the news, because we've got a lot of things to cover.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
A lot of things. First off, election season began yesterday.
Yes.
People started taking out nomination papers.
Mm-hmm.
And, of course, we knew Paul Coogan was going to take out his papers.
Yeah.
But somebody beat him to the punch.
That's right.
Sam Sutter seemed to have gotten to, and Paul works in that office, and he couldn't get there and they're on the same floor. They're only like across the hall from each other. And Paul couldn't get there right away to get his papers. So, but that was very interesting.
Mm-hmm.
But former mayor and Bristol County District Attorney Sam Sutter hadn't made it a secret that he intended to take on incumbent Mayor Paul Coogan. By 8:10 a.m., he was filling out the required paperwork in the Board of Elections office. I've been waiting a long time for this, said Sutter, who was mayor in 2015. I felt like I was just getting started. And you know, we've had conversations with Sam on several occasions. Mm-hmm. And he has said over and over again that the job he wants is mayor of Fall River.
Oh, yeah.
And I've made it clear that people aren't going to forget some of the issues that led to his demise as mayor.
Yeah.
Besides the fact that Jazel was a con man.
Yeah.
And he could, you know, charm the infant formula out of a baby's hands, mm-hmm. Or charm the dog off a meat wagon. Mm-hmm. It was just very interesting to see how, even with Jazel, he had some difficulty trying to figure out how to handle this kid, because a lot of people couldn't handle him. And I know you were a major supporter of Jazel for a long time. So. And no accounting for taste.
Absolutely not.
But we've said very clearly here that under Jazel's leadership, the city was in the best position possible.
Yes.
And Paul keeps claiming an $8 million,
he forgets
stabilization account, but he forgot who put that there.
He forgot what he was handed with the previous team, and in regards to Sam, I just want to say, CJ, is that. He wasn't a politician. That was his first time getting into something like that. So he was just getting into the ropes. And let's not forget, when he got in there, we know what he was faced with. He was handed literally a problem. Right. And had to scramble to figure things out.
And the way he was scrambling was he was trying to make a decision on whether to cut public safety mm-hmm. or add some fees mm-hmm. or taxes or whatever the case may be. He chose not to cut public safety, which I would expect from him, because he's a former district attorney.
Yeah. Okay?
And remember, one of his great claims to fame is the fact that he won the case of Aaron Hernandez. Mm. Okay? And that gave him a very high, position in prominence in the news media and elsewhere. So do I think that had anything to do with the election? Probably not. I think that we've got more Patriots fans that would say, no. Yeah. But, he is definitely somebody who can campaign. I know when he goes places, and I think you were there at Maplewood Park this weekend, and people were coming up to him and saying hi.
Yes, they were. They noticed him right away, and And that's the thing with Sam. Sam has a history in the city as to what he has done as DA.
Right.
I mean, paper after paper, him working with the police department, him working with the mayor at that time. Time and time and again, he has shown that he knows how to tackle crime. He knows how to bring down and work with those to bring down gun violence. I mean, there are numerous articles
Right.
that will confirm that. So he understands, and that's the big difference. He understands, and he's not afraid. From the time when I saw him as DA, he wasn't afraid to tackle those issues head on.
Right.
With no excuses, versus what we have today. We have someone who just wants to stay in the background and just delegate responsibilities when the buck stops with him and everyone else. But I think you do recall Paul was on the radio.
Yes, I do.
What did he say?
About the purple bags and the trash collection fee.
Already, the political con job is already starting.
Right.
With him, and true to form. But and look, I know. And by the way, I just want to say to the person from within the Coogan camp, leak some beans. And basically, the playbook is they're gonna attack Sam on the only thing that they can really attack him on is the fee.
Right.
But let's I mean, you do recall a certain meeting a few years ago with Mary Sahadi,
A city
right?
council meeting. Yes, I do.
Remember that one?
I remember quite clearly.
Yeah, it was quite shocking because all of this was being talked about, and she put this on her laptop before the scratch ticket was even a thing.
Right.
Just want to get that out there.
Mm-hmm.
Let's and again, Paul, this is you, right? You know who you are. You're standing right there. You know who you are. This is you. Okay, let's look at where we were heading under the Coogan administration. FY21 expenditure option ideas, short-term measures, general fund capital project reductions deferral, school department capital projects reductions deferral, reduce city hall hours, which we still have reduced city hall hours.
We still have reduced hours.
And furloughs for all city employees, including public safety. That was a short term.
That was a short term, yeah.
Well,
And again, this is making cuts because his budget wasn't sustainable.
Then let's look at the long-term measures they put out there. Permanent level reductions in police, fire, and other departments. Restructure how and who trash and recycling is collected from bringing down the cost of disposal. Redesign health insurance and market the high deductible plan. And request the pension appropriation be extended from 2040 to 2040 from 2035. Okay, that's it. Permanent level reductions for police and fire and other departments. See, this is what happens when you go into a different direction with spending. This is where he was going, but then, CJ, the big one, the revenue ideas. This is gonna knock your socks off. With the cost of solid waste and recycling continuing to increase, the city could reinstitute the household fee. Wow.
Which was a $10 a month fee.
Which would generate $3.5 million. With the cost of solid waste and recycling continuing to increase, the city could reinstitute pay as you throw. Remember that?
Purple bags.
That was $2 million. And hear this. Fall River voters approved the debt exclusion to fund the high school. The city could add the FY21 debt service for the high school to the tax bills. This measure would cost the average residential home an additional $100 and fund the total debt service due. And then you say use one-time money for stabilization, which would create a structural deficit. This is what they were going to do. And it's like, when you look at this, is that it all makes sense as to why all of a sudden now he wants to cut education by $11 million. He is literally trying to find money in every way possible, but at the cost of our children. And it's just, this budget season, it will be proven that he will be exposed to be a liar and a thief.
Well, I think
with documentation.
I think one of the things that bailed Paul out from those actions is the fact that we got an influx of ARPA money.
Yep.
And had we not gotten that ARPA money, you can bet that all of those items would have happened.
Oh, yeah.
And there's no question about it in my mind. Because the mayor has even said that he's using ARPA money again this year to offset the debt exclusion. So let's put it this way. He offsets it this year. Next year, we don't have the ARPA money. So all he's doing is kicking the can down the road so that if he's not mayor, that mayor takes the hit. And if he is mayor, he'll try to brush off the hit.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And that's going to be one of the big questions.
And April 7th is the year to the day where there was a joint committee meeting between the school committee and the city council, and they were talking about the deficits, the projected deficits that Mary Zapati alluded to. Okay, I mean that's coming. All right, and the thing is, he has misappropriated the city's funds. He has created more debt on top of debt with this one-time money, and pretty soon it's coming. It's going to come to light. It's going to come to light, and he cannot hide it for any longer. And it's a real shame of how we've changed and how Groundhog Day is coming inside that room with Diamond, 6.5 in year 26. That's when the full assessment hits. It's just, and then it's also alleged that the police contract is possibly $3 million short.
Yep.
A false promise. That's
fully funded. I remember hearing the chief financial officer saying it was fully funded. She said, I can guarantee you, Counselor, it's fully funded.
It's shocking. It's shocking that we would promise the police union that we got the money, but we all know it's not going to be there.
Right.
We all know it's not going to be there.
It's going to have to be there, though, somehow.
But, and I know what Paul's going to do. He's going to try to silence me and say I'm inaccurate, that, he wasn't going to try to bring back any fees. But let's remind the public. Let's let Paulie Pocket speak for himself, because I think that's the best way to do it, is because he's not going to call himself a liar. And, so for Fall River, this is what was said.
Forward right now, I'm not keen on that, and I'm not going to bring back the purple bags. I told the voters I wouldn't. Those are two things I said I wouldn't do. I am looking at the trash fee, though, if there's a way to implement that, and also in working with Councilor Dion, making sure we try to do something with businesses and multifamilies, if there's a way to make them operate as a business.
There you go. If I'm Sam Sutter, you write that all the way to the election.
Yep.
Whenever he tries to bring up the fee, you just remind the city that if he did not receive a scratch ticket, he was going to bring back the household trash fee.
Yep.
And that's a fact, and that's confirmed by his own words.
His own words, exactly. Exactly.
By his own words. And I also want to say to the city, when the council president, and this day is coming, by the way, when the council president says, when he calls my name, and the subject matter is crossing the Rubicon, it's really a point of no return, because with documentation, it will be shown that Paul Coogan is literally trying to take money wherever possible. No red line will prevent him. But the big question is that when it's proven that he violated and broke his oath of office, what is the city council going to do? Are they going to allow somebody who purposely and knowingly stole money from the taxpayers? Are they going to allow somebody to continue governing in that fashion? What are we going to stand for?
Well, the problem is we have a city council that doesn't represent the people. We have a city council that represents the mayor. The mayor sends it down and they automatically approve it. Just look at the water bill. Again, increased fees. This is what Paul has been on his entire term in office. Increased taxes, increased fees. And even during that period of time, the 2 years where everything was shut down, the city was still increasing spending. How, I don't know. But they were still, I do know, he hired a lot of friends. He hired a lot of people for a lot of good paying jobs. But the only person that spoke out against that rate increase was Michelle Dion.
Yeah.
That's it, Michelle Dion. And we've said over and over again on this show that Michelle Dion has been, the Davy as opposed to the Goliath. Paul's the Goliath, and the 8 city council members that are with him make up that Goliath. And Michelle's there whipping around her rocks trying to knock down Goliath. But let me put it to you this way. Here's the water rate that we're going to see. We currently pay $3.57 per 100 cubic foot, which is about 720 gallons of water each time. And they're going to raise that to $3.77 per 100 cubic foot. That's 20 cents more. Sounds like a big deal, right? 20 cents. Hey, what's 20 cents?
Yep.
It adds up. But the sewer fees are going to increase from $5.75 per 100 cubic foot to $6.06 per 100 cubic foot. That's $1.01. People say, oh, well, that's not a lot of money, $1.01. And then the quarterly water storm, you know, the rainwater tax, is going up $3 to $50 a quarter. That's $200 a year. See, when we start speaking in real numbers, then you start seeing it. Because, of course, as usual, they say the average cost is going to be $31.85 in their water and sewer bills. I've never seen the average increase. Never. Never once. My aunt, who is a single-family homeowner, we compare our water bills. It's like a running gag. It's almost like playing poker, you know. She's never seen the average increase. Never. And there's one person in her household, one.
Wow.
Okay, and she hasn't seen the average increase. Every time the water bill goes up by this less than this amount, because last time the sewer rate went up 8 cents.
And I also want to say too is that I remember Michelle, she brought her bill
Yes.
and brought her bill to in front of the camera, said, you know, you're saying this, but look at my bill, it's this.
Right.
All right, look, at the end of the day, look, we need, if Sam is elected, he needs to do what needs to be done, and that is, before going out with his vision and his plans, is initiate a federal audit.
A forensic audit.
My bad, forensic audit.
Yeah.
Because we need to know where we really stand with everything. I truly believe that it's so necessary right now. It's not going to happen at this point in time because, you know, Paul wouldn't want the real financial state of the city to be shown. But if Sam gets that opportunity to serve again, he needs to put it all on the table for the people to see, and so that he doesn't get blamed for everything.
That's right.
Okay, he doesn't get blamed for Paulie Pockets' mistakes.
Right.
And total lack of compassion for the taxpayers, because let's not forget, he promised the $6 million of going back to the people. Never happened.
Right.
There's been increase after increase and after increase, and now, you know, he's begging the state practically to change a law that is not a requirement of net school spending, simply because he needs money.
Right.
I don't recall.
And if it wasn't for Kevin Aguiar and the chief financial officer of the school department saying, yeah, that's going to be an $11 million cut to the school department budget, Paul would have said no, because he kept saying, no, it's not.
And look, let's not forget, Paul has never, ever put together a budget like this. He's never been a CFO.
Right.
He's never been a CFO, okay? Mr. Almeida's job, we all know what his job is. That's his job. He has a fiduciary obligation to tell the impact of stuff like that.
Correct.
That's his job. And let's not forget this one thing too. Paul loves to talk about his time inside into the school department, but not once throughout his entire tenure in the school department has he ever been promoted to principal.
Right.
Why? Why did he not make that leap? You want to know why? Because he wasn't qualified to run a school, and they have a vetting process. I don't know what that is, but I'm pretty sure they have a vetting process. He wasn't qualified to run a school. Even they had their doubts. I wonder why, because we're living in it right now. He's totally mismanaged the entire $300 million corporation, basically is what it is. And now, pretty soon, we're going to be bearing even more of the consequences. This is some serious stuff here.
Well, you know, and the thing is that he's sitting on the ARPA money like it's an egg waiting to hatch, okay? He's got to spend it all by a specific date. He has to spend it, not appropriate it, spend it. And they've appropriated, and you know, an article in the Herald News said they've appropriated like $20 million to the water department for projects, but it's only been appropriated. None of it's been spent. None of it's been spent.
And that's the key word there. It's only been appropriated.
Right. And Michelle Dion was arguing strenuously for more money to be taken out of ARPA to be put into that infrastructure that we needed, because that's what the money's for. The money is not to make your friends happy. The money is not to make your friends, solvent. It's not to give your friend a job. It's not to give your friend management fees for programs, and which is all you have done. All you have done is give management fees and projects to friends, or at least one friend that we know of.
And I just also want to say, too, is that when it's shown that he stole from the taxpayers with documentation, will the city council demand him to resign? Because, look, we don't know who else is going to run for re-election on the city council. We don't know. But the fact is they have a job to do. They swore to uphold the same oath that he did. Okay?
Which they right now are not doing.
But at a very, very, very real short period of time, that true moment, the moment of truth is going to arrive. And they're going to have to hold this man accountable and demand that he resign. It's coming to that point.
But the city councils, demanded that of Jazel Correa.
I know.
And it never happened. And it never will happen. Because no mayor wants to resign in shame. And, that's the truth. But you're speaking about the city council. Bob Pearson has taken out papers to run for city council.
Yep.
And Paul Hart, school committee member, has also taken papers to run out for city council. And Paul has been a city councilor in the past. So let's see what he does with the school committee. Look at his actions. I mean, I guess they removed him as vice president of the city council. I mean, of the school committee.
Yep.
And, why?
I always wanted that too.
And he's very quiet. And when you try to get a hold of him, I mean, he doesn't call you back right away, but he does call you back.
Yeah.
And you have conversation with him, and it always sounds like he's going to vote in a way that is beneficial to the students and to the taxpayer. And then all of a sudden, it's opposite. It's just like Linda Pereira. I'm totally against this water rate increase. As much as I'm against it, I feel I have to vote for it.
I know.
Okay? You represent the people. When you're an elected official, your opinions mean squat. That means squat. Your opinions are useless and they're not to be considered. Your opinion means nothing. The opinion of the people is what matters. Poll your constituents. Make a few phone calls. Talk to them. Find out how they feel. Guarantee that they're going to tell you not to vote the way you think you should vote. Because it's wrong. Because it's not representative of the people. And you were elected to represent the people. Do I have to go into the Constitution? The first part? Section 4? Section 5? I hope not. We said it enough on this show. Many, many, many times.
Yeah.
It's one of our thriving statements.
Yeah. So we're going to see who else pulls papers.
Martin Vandell pulled papers, which last time he ran, he got 50 votes. That was it. Jordan Sylvia is supposed to pull papers, but again, there's a question of, is he pulling papers for city council or is he going to pull papers for mayor? I think that those divisive votes can hurt Paul, but they can also hurt Sam.
I think.
And, it's those divisive votes that we have to focus on. Although there's probably not many, I would say there's about 3,000 votes there to play with. Those 3,000 votes can swing an election.
But let's not forget, though, we just played the soundbite.
Yep.
So now it's a different ball game now.
Right.
And now this time around, I think Sam will have the opportunity to talk about his platform and what he wants to do. But again, whenever his opponent tries to bring up the trash fee, just keep reminding the people that Paul, having he not received a scratch ticket, was going to bring it in. He was going to bring it in.
And he was going to cut police and fire.
Yep.
And he was going to cut employees. He was going to furlough people.
So it's Paul can't hide from it. He can't hide from it. But again, I just when you look at it from 3 years of this current administration, the city of Fall River has literally been taken from the people, has been given to the special interest.
Oh yeah, there's no question about that. And we've been saying that. It's all friends. My developer friends, my banker friends, my investor friends. And all you have to do is look at the contracts that the mayor is signing. He signed a contract with a cousin for city insurance. He signed a contract with his brother for a city union. His brother works in the school department as the human resources director. He's got a nephew that works as a vice principal or a principal somewhere in the school system. And we've said this over and over again, that there are many members of Paul's family that work within the city employment, whether it's the school system or the city side. And you can't get around that. Again, these are special interest hires. They're all special interest hires. And remember one thing, because Paul said it very clearly during the Matt Malone thing. He could not get involved because of an ethics decision or an ethics opinion that said because his brother was part of human resources, he should not be involved in any actions. And he's involved in every action to hire, and every action to discipline, and every action to fire. And again, those are ethical violations.
Listen, he breaks the law all the time.
But wait a minute, I'm the mayor of the law. I'm the mayor of the charter. I'm going to follow the charter. No, you follow the charter when it's convenient for you. And we saw that when the city council was fighting you on your budget.
And then recently, I just seen on this recent school committee meeting that I guess $1.5 million has been spent, and there was a little exchange between Kevin and Mr. Almeida, and I guess the school committee didn't weigh in on that 1.5 expenditure there. It's just, I don't know. Look, $11 million. Can our children afford it? No, I just don't see $11 million. I see $110 million every single 10 years. And he'll be gone before it even reaches the first $110 million. We need to start planning for when he is gone, because Paul's not going to be here. He's not going to be. He's leaving soon. That day is coming. That day is coming. Like, it's just,
whether it's this election cycle or the next.
He is leaving. He's not going to stay in town, because when things hit the fan, CJ, he's not going to stay to have to own up to his governing style of total mismanagement. And it's just, without any more scratch ticket money to cover him, no, that's asking too much. That's asking way too much. He'll be gone. And then, pretty soon we're going to have to tell the police union, hey, we cannot do this because of what's going on right now, of the spending. It's total nonsense. I just hope that people really have an open mind, and when this election season kicks off, Paul can't attack Sam anymore, because it's like you said it. You was gonna bring back the trash fee. So to be continued for Friday, because I believe Friday, the man in this seat is chomping at the bit. So
I'm sure he is. He called me this morning on his way to Boston. One of the big things is that we have to remember, the people need to keep an open mind and look forward. Don't look back. Look forward and make Fall River better, or make Fall River great again. Say that one. I may get crap for that. I want to thank you all for watching, and remember, stay safe, stay angry, and hold your politicians accountable. Or we'll see you on Friday. Thanks for watching, everyone.